Means only one thing. We got an opportunity to speak with Coach Giampa and have our weekly football preview here at Bay Path. Coach, once again, coming off an exciting win last week in regards to the first round of the state vocational tournament. Let's quickly, well, first of all, how are you? How's your week progressing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Doing well. Parents' night last night. We had the Central Mass meeting the night before, so it's been a long week, but doing well.
Well, there are a lot of good news. There was a lot of good news that came out of the Central Mass meeting, which is nice. That we'll can get into a little bit maybe later on. But more importantly, let's circle back and talk a little bit about the opening round of the state vocational tournament. Essex Aggie came in and you had a home game. Obviously, the result was definitely what you were looking for. But let's talk a little bit about the game and how it progressed for you throughout.
Yeah, it was a cool game. The weather was really cool. We've had a couple of those, especially later on in the year up here on top of a mountain. It gets it's neat with the fog and the atmosphere. The fans were great. And an opportunity to play important football in November is always what you're looking for. So it was a good week practice. The preparation was really on point all week, and then watching the kids execute on Thursday night last week was really exciting. So, like I said, we're always looking to play important football in November, football that matters, football that has consequences one way or the other. So, anytime you're in playoff games or games with those kind of implications, you're excited about it. So the kids rose to the challenge. I thought they showed what our program is and where we're at, and they handled themselves really well. So we were excited about the opportunity.
Well, let's talk about the outcome. At the halftime, you guys are up pretty well. I thought what was this? I think it was it 44-0 or something of that nature. I forget. And the execution was spot on. The defense was airtight. You really took advantage of the opportunity. So, what were some of the highlights of that first half that really got you guys sparked and ready to go?
We were really proud of the way the defense played. Holding anybody to zero in modern football is tough. And they had two tough weeks the weeks before with really big physical teams. And it's, with football, there's not a lot of opportunities, right? You don't have back-to-back games, or you don't have, games every other day. So it's tough. You got to sit with your performance for a week or longer. And when you have back-to-back performances that aren't, not a lack of effort, but, not executing well, not maybe the game plan wasn't as good as it should have been. When you have those things go on, it's tough, and you have to sit with that for a while. And we were really, really proud of the way that they kind of rebit and they came back into it, and they played great. They were really physical. Took it to the offense every play, which I think any defense, that's the recipe for success. If you can play on their side of the football and you can make them have to adjust what they're doing to you as opposed to the other way around, I think that's a good thing. And like I said, they responded to the adversity of the weeks, the two prior weeks, really, really well. So we're really proud of the way the defense, showed up in that game.
Well, defense wins championships. I don't care what sport you play. And again, when you can lock down and really have purpose and why behind stopping people with the line of scrimmage and not allowing those first downs, that's huge. And that just gives the offense a much freer opportunity to execute on their own end. So let's talk about your offense a little bit. Obviously, you struck early and fast and often. Everything seemed to be clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, we had a game where we executed well, and I think that offensive football is assignment and execution. We talk about that all the time, knowing what you're doing, and then being able to go out and do it. It's not overly complicated to be successful on offense. You just have to know what you're doing, and then you have to do it. And I think that the offense has done a good job doing that. They did a good job, settle. It took them a drive to kind of settle in, and then once they kind of started executing and carrying out their assignments, they did a nice job.
Oh, good stuff right there. So I tell you, you got a lot of kids, some reps, I'm sure, as a result of the opportunity of the score. Doesn't always happen. You keep some fresh legs going into this week. That's a really good thing from a coach's standpoint as well, because now you're gearing up towards round two. It gets a little bit tighter, a little more competitive each round within the tournament. So let's talk a little bit about Greater New Bedford and what they bring to the table in regards to the competition you're going to face on Friday night.
Yeah, we saw them for the first time last year. They're a big team. They're very physical. They're fast this year. They have a lot of speed in the backfield. They do a bunch of different things offensively that can create some problems. And then defensively, they have a couple different fronts that they run. In trying to stop an offense, and they got some real big boys who play up front. They're fast off the ball. They're physical, and that's, I mean, again, as like you said, when you're climbing through playoffs, every team that you play gets better. It's hard. You can't avoid, and I think that's why every team wants to be in situations like this, because you don't want to be hiding behind things. You don't want to be having to, as a coach, you don't have to make up stories as to why games are important or why teams are going to be good and why, you might be facing some adversity this week. Like that, every round you progress, the um, teams are going to be better. And this team, certainly there might be one of the better teams we've faced all year. But this is what we want to do. We want to compete against the best. We want to put ourselves in situations where we're competing against the best. And, it's certainly hard to list. If you're going to list the top vocational schools, whether it's in the athletic department, I know we see Greater New Bedford and other sports. I think we saw them last year in the baseball playoffs. And, if you want to make a list of vocational school athletic departments, you don't go too far down before you get to them. So we're excited about the opportunity. We're excited that, we provide, we've given this opportunity, we've earned this opportunity for ourselves. And again, it's fun. You want to play against good teams. You want to play against teams that are going to challenge you, show you what you are. And it's a good way to prove yourself, all the work that you put in and all the work that the kids do. It's a great way to kind of measure yourself with where you are.
Well, let's talk about key matchups. You've had a chance to scout them, their strengths versus your strengths. I mean, what do you think? Where do you think the battle is going to be won?
Well, I think you said it already. Defensively, we're going to have to stop them. I think I think their defense is very good. They're fast. Their linebackers fly to the football. They're sound defensively. In other words, they don't give you a part of the field that's easily attacked, or part of the field that's left open and trying to hide a deficiency somewhere else. Sometimes teams, especially on defense, if they're weak in one place, they try to make up for it in another place. Like, for example, if you don't have a great back end on defense, you might try to cause a lot of pressure so that the quarterback doesn't have time to get to those matchups and see those matchups. These guys are solid on all three levels. They line up in different spots, which can be tough because, again, like we said, offensively you got to know where you're aligning and executing and things like that. So I think it's going to come down to our defense against their offense. How well are we going to respond to their speed, their size up front? They do a lot of pulling, so we're going to have to identify and figure out what's going on, and our kids got to play fast and violent, and I think that's where the majority of the game is going to come down to.
Well, right there, I mean, that describes who you guys are as a team, taking advantage of all the opportunities that are in front of you, winning the little battles throughout the game, puts you in a position to win at the end, man. I told you this before. As your principal, I'm super proud of what you guys are creating. Our athletic department is on the rise. There's no doubt about it. We're looking to play the teams that are going to challenge us and elevate us to the highest level. That's what high school sports are all about. So I know Friday night at 6 p.m. here up on the hill is going to be a great contest between two strong football teams. And what more could you ask for if you're the head coach of a team playing this time of the year and playing against in meaningful games? You hit it right on the head, Coach.
Yeah, and then we're excited for a big turnout on Friday. I think one of the things that I hope people are proud of our kids for is that, if you look at if you go to like the Telegram or the Max Preps and you look at the schedules for each week, every week from last week all the way back to August, they're loaded. Every team's playing every team has matchups. You go to this week, it's pretty sparse. There's the state playoffs going on, and then there's the vote playoffs going on. Outside of that, there's not a lot of football being played anymore. And again, our kids have worked their tails off to earn the opportunity to still be playing. There's not many games going on Friday night, so we're hoping that we have a massive turnout to the game on Friday, so that they can support and cheer on our guys.
I'll tell you what, 6 p.m. If you're not doing anything, come up the Bay Path, come support our coaches, our teams, our football team. They're doing a great job, man. And I'll tell you what, we'll have the school colors going, and we'll be down there on the 50-yard line with you guys. And looking forward to a great night, Coach. Hey, continued success. Any last words?
Oh, just excited about the opportunity.
There it is, right there, Coach Giampa. Thank you very much on behalf of the entire administration and the school. Go Minutemen! Hope to see you Friday night, 6 p.m. here for the game against Greater Bedford High School.
Thank you. Go Minutemen.